season. And before that season-closing loss, he reportedly met with the team's front office, as well as his agent, Rich Paul, to discuss his return to the court. According to that same report, Simmons told Brooklyn he suffers from a, quote, mental block that caused stress, which in turn triggered his back injury. Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried do you think the Nets should be about all this?
10. You know why, Skip? Because the mind controls everything. We talked about this yesterday.
Yep.
We've seen great athletes lose it. Chuck Knobloch was a great second baseman, Skip. A very good, I shouldn't say great, very good second baseman.
Very good. Yep.
Skip, he couldn't throw the ball to first base. We saw
not a long throw.
It's not a long throw. Rick Ankiel. Skip, all of a sudden, he couldn't throw the ball over the plate. They had to move him to the outfield.
They did. Before your time, Steve Blass, the Pittsburgh pitcher, just couldn't find the home plate anymore.
And Skip, he finished behind the MVP. I was reading about him. He finished in the World Series MVP behind Roberto Clemente. They won it in '71.
That is correct.
And you know this very well because this is your sport. David Duval. Skip, he just couldn't play anymore. He just couldn't. He lost it. It's a mind thing. The mind controls everything. And anybody that tells you it's about how strong you are, how fast you are, it's all this. It's all between the ears. Don't let Tom Brady fool you. Tom Brady believes he's the best damn quarterback to ever live. Michael Jordan believes he's the greatest basketball player to ever live. Absolutely. It's a mind thing. The mind controls everything. And right now, and I said it at the time, Skip, we can get through a lot of things if we know we got support. He didn't get the support that he needed in Philly. He needed Doc to back him. He needed Joel Embiid to back him. It would have been nice if the fans backed him, but the fans are going to be fans. I don't have a problem with the fans. But within that locker room, Skip, he needed that support. And when he didn't get it, Skip, I say, Skip, it's over. I can read his body language and how he was and how he is. And he knows, Skip, he feels that he let his team down. And he's going to have to compartmentalize because there's a lot of people that go through things. Skip, you and I, hey, everybody sees you and I debating and everything is hunky-dory. Skip, no, there's a lot of, you don't know a lot of times that Shannon Sharp go home and because he compartmentalized things going through something. Went through a breakup about 16 months ago, Skip. Man, it's wearing on me.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I know it, Skip. It's news to a lot of people. But as I told her, the mind replays what the heart can't delete. And right now, Ben Simmons' mind can't delete. It replays over and over Atlanta. That layup, Skip, not taking the shot, it broke his heart.
It did.
That those guys wouldn't support him. Skip, he's going to have, I believe, and I told you this, Skip, I said, Skip, he's done for this year. I said, I believe Ben Simmons came into this season, what they should have done, the moment he said he wanted out was to get him out. Because I know he wasn't going to play for Philly anymore. But if you got him out, Skip, maybe he gets a fresh start. Once he got to Brooklyn, he wasn't playing. That's too much of a pressure cooker, Skip. Hell, he just was in the pressure cooker in the playoffs last year, and he came up small. And you want to throw him right back in there? I said, no, it's not going to work. I believe Ben Simmons went to Brooklyn, said, you know what, I'm going to set this thing out. You know, I'm going to come back in the summer, and I'm going to be okay. And I don't believe Ben Simmons' camp, Skip, was saying Ben Simmons is possibly game 3, possibly game 4.
I don't either.
I believe that was Brooklyn. I believe they was trying to ramp up the pressure, trying to peer pressure him into playing, and his mind wasn't where it needed to be. And if your mind is not where it needs to be, Skip, I don't care how skilled you are. They ain't got nothing to do with all that skill. It's Kobe Bryant's mind. It's LeBron. It's all these great players. No matter what your sport, it's your mind, not your body. His body's fine. You look at it, Skip, ain't no nothing wrong with it, but it's Skip his mind. His mind won't let him do it.
All of that beautifully said by you. Before I launch on this, I'll throw one other name at you only because he's from Australia, as is Ben Simmons, but from my sport, golf.
Oh, Greg.
No, Ian Baker Finch.
Finch, okay.
Now CBS commentator. Was a really good player who completely lost it and could not drive the ball in the fairway anymore. It went right, and then it went left, and it went right, and it went left because he just lost it, and he could not refocus. How did I do that? Same with Ben Simmons. This is horrifying for the Brooklyn Nets now because Sham's report is the strongest yet by far. And I'm going to reread what Jen read, but those in the room we're told by Ben Simmons that he has a mental block dating back in part to last summer's postseason, which is creating stress that could serve as a trigger point for his back issue. I buy that because the mind
controls the body.
It just does. So it's possible that he was trying to commit to Game 4, and he woke up on Sunday morning ahead of Monday's game, and just somehow, because the demons are still lurking in his psyche, and all of a sudden it triggers back pain. And I kept saying, oh, come on, really? Back pain again?
Yeah, you remember when you go to the doctor, you have any kind of procedure, know what the cancer doctor, what do they tell you to do? Think positive now. Think positive. Positive ain't no damn medicine, but the mind controls everything.
It does.
More so than the medicine that they give you, what you think, therefore I am.
Yep.
Ben Simmons thinks that right now, Skip, he's a failure. Ben Simmons thinks that I've let this team down. And he can't, in his mind, it keeps replaying Atlanta. It keeps replaying, well, the game changed when we had a dunk or we had a layup and we make one free throw. Well, it keeps replaying, I don't know if we can win a championship with him as our starting point guard. That's what's replaying in his head over and over. But Skip, here's one better. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, everything goes well. He goes to a therapist. Hey, there's nothing wrong with going to a therapist out there, trust me. I used to think the same thing. Who the hell needs a therapist? More people than you think see them and need them. Skip, what happens when he goes out there and he airballs a free throw? What happens when he goes out there and airballs a shot? That's the part that he's going to have to get over. Getting back on the court, I believe, will be fine. But when you have failure, how do you handle that? Because, Skip, you know, you got Chuck Knobloch in practice when doing field, he just throwing the balls. They had him batting practice and they doing other things, the fielding drill. Woo,
Another one was Steve Sachs.
I remember him. But he bounced back, Skip. He had 30. I think he had 30 errors one year. He bounced back and had a pretty good career. But I remember he was the first one that I remember. Didn't really know a whole lot about him, but Skip, this right here, when they say it's between the ears, can't know about all that other stuff, Skip.
Agreed. Every time we discuss knee injuries on this show in some depth, I go home and my knees ache because it's just subliminal suggestion. All of a sudden, my body is telling my mind is telling my body, your knees are shaky, man. You ice them every night and they start to ache. So here's the final most horrifying thought from Ben Simmons in this reported meeting. He added in the meeting he does not want to play basketball and play for the Nets as he works on solutions in regard to his well-being. Well, hopefully that includes some form of counseling and therapy. Well, so he does not want to play basketball for the near future until he sorts this out in his own mind.
Yeah, that's why I'm at a 10.
Ooh.
You're probably at a 12.
I'm at a 12 because I told you yesterday, the Nets, business is business. They have to look back at, okay, we traded for him. We traded James Harden, and we got 2 other starters, but the centerpiece is obviously this guy. Now, I will reiterate, Rookie of the Year, 3 straight All-Star teams, 2 straight first-team all-defenses, and yet they have to think, will we ever have him? Will he ever get right? Will he ever feel like his confidence is high enough to subject himself to playing NBA basketball again? Who knows?
But, Ben, as in my case, I messed that situation up that caused me to be in my situation. It was you, Ben. Ben, you did this. We create our demons. We have to trace them away, Skip. Ben Simmons is going to have to go face it. If he airballs and I airball, hey, you're not the first. You won't be the last. That's the only way, Skip. He's got to face it. At some point in time, you cannot outrun your problems because all it does is it makes you tired when they finally catch up with you. So, Ben, go sit down with someone and talk. That sports psychologist, some really good ones. Everybody, I mean, I believe all the top athletes have them, Skip. I really do. I really do.
They do.
There's no way to defend. I don't know if it's 10%, 5%, but I believe a lot of the top athletes have guys or women that they talk to. Because you got to, Skip. It's a different era now. I mean, with the social media and the critique, because everybody is a coach, everybody is a GM, everybody is an analyst, everybody is an ex-player that's giving you insight on what you should or what you shouldn't do. And sometimes it becomes all-consuming. And we get caught up into that. We get caught up into being someone we're actually not, Skip. You know, what Samuel Johnson's greatest quote says, almost every man will waste a part of his life trying to possess quality he does not have in an attempt to gain fame for which he cannot keep. So all of us get to go sometimes, at some point in time in our life, we try to pretend something that we're not. Ben Simmons, you're a basketball player. That's what you do. Go get the help that you need and figure it out. You can do this.
Yep. Because when I watch his form at the free throw line,
nothing wrong with his form.
It's really good.
Nothing wrong with his form.
It's textbook.
No.
He doesn't need a shooting coach. He just needs
a mental coach.
Yeah, psychological coach. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I told you that classic game where he got mad about Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, and there was no Joel Embiid, and they go to Utah, and he puts up 42 on the Stifle Tower and made 10 of 12 free throws in that game.
Right.
Well, he's highly capable.
But what Ben has heard, Skip, he's soft. Or he punk move. He chickening out.
Yep.
And he started to believe that, Skip. My brother used to call me names, and I tell Granny, I said, Granny, Spank over there calling me names. He said, did you answer? He said, ain't what you call you. He said, what you answer to? Ben is starting to answer to the softness, the punkness, all the things that, if that's not what you are, what you call me doesn't bother me.
Yep.
But that's the mind, Skip. Ben can do this. Look, Skip, I don't question anybody's mental augment. Obviously, some people have tougher because, you know, different tasks calls for different mentalities. But I feel bad for him because I know what it's like to be a prisoner in your own body.
Yep. And yet I thought
Gentlemen,
his teammate Patty Mills,
it is a serious
Australian,
subject,
thought that
that's
would help
for
him.
sure.
Yeah.